gonna have we got a nice crew joining us once again. If you are joining us, please let us know in the chat where you're coming from, your district or your school, and what grades and subjects are you piloting or are you supporting the pilot. Nadeem, why don't we jump in and get rolling?
Yeah, perfect.
All right, so my screen's okay. Yes, it looks like it. So we're going to spend 45 minutes today talking about how TeachAid can help out with the new curriculum. So my name is Cammie Kannekens, and I'm a district instructional coach in Prairie, which is in the bottom southeast corner of the province. It's actually all the rural area around Medicine Hat, if you're wondering where that is. Interestingly, with us, we actually started to use TeachAid for a pilot when the K-6 crew was doing the science pilot. So that's quite a ways away already. And so at that time, we TeachAid was brand new. We got in touch with them. And so some of our teachers, our piloting teachers, were able to use TeachAid for that K-6. And so when we had a new pilot, I said, hey, Nadeem, I'm wondering if you can put in that new draft curriculum again. And he did. And so Nadeem is the founder of TeachAid, and I'd like to point out that it's teachaid.ca. Nadeem, tell us a little bit about you.
Thanks, Cammie. Yeah, and hi, everyone. Thanks for taking the time today. So as Cammie mentioned, I'm Nadeem. I'm the founder of a company called TeachAid. And what TeachAid is an AI tool for curriculum and pedagogy. So what we mean by that is it's a tool that can create full curriculum or full curricular units. So really different than the other AI tools in the market that are more so productivity tools, helping create quick worksheets or activities. We're really focused on full curriculum or curricular units. I'll tell you more about that later, but yeah, TeachAid, the Canadian company, actually based out of Ontario. But yeah, thanks everyone for taking the time today.
All right, so we know that actually just Friday, Monday, some of the pilot information was finally released. We knew it was coming, but it's official now. And so we know that one of the I've been in my role leading the pilots through the K-6. And what we know is that they say, yes, we want you to pilot our new curriculum, but we're not going to give you any resources because there aren't any. And so that puts us in a tough spot. And so that was one of the reasons that we looked to TeachAid so that we could have something that our teachers could start to build units with. And we're going to build some units today really soon. Nadeem's going to jump in. We're going to build math for sure and some social studies. And if you like what you see, you can take this recording and spread it to some other folks that might be useful for them, or maybe you're going to even look at piloting TeachAid for your school. So we know that those new curricula are just around the corner, and you have, well, it's really interesting. The government says you don't need to identify who your teachers are until September 21st for the pilot. And I'm like, oh, because teachers want to wait that long. We know that if you're going to pilot, you're going to want to take a look at it over the summer and you're going to want to do some work. So the good news is we don't have to wait for the province. We can get in and dig in and do the things that we know we need to do to get ready. And so, Nadeem, I think we're going to send it over to you to take us into TeachAid.
Yeah, sounds good. We can kind of just jump right into it. And maybe I won't even present the slides. Maybe we'll just go directly to the website. It's probably easier. And then
I'll
Kim,
stop
I think
sharing and you can.
Sounds good. And then Kim, if you don't mind, I think there's just I'll let them in. But if you anyone else is trying to get in, or
an eye on the door, yeah.
Sounds good. Okay, so yeah, again, what TeachAid is that AI tool that can create full curricular units. So again, very different than a tool like Gemini or Copilot or other EdTech AI tools out there that are kind of those productivity tools, creating a really quick one-off parent letter home or worksheet or activity. What we do is build everything from the unit plan to lessons, to the activities, from diagnostic to formative to final assessments, so that full curricular unit. But what's really special about TeachAid is when we work with a school or district, what we actually do is hyper-localize it and customize it to your context. So we can take things like your local curricula, school values, your geography, cultural, Indigenous education approaches, different pedagogical frameworks from your strategic plan. And we can actually embed that into TeachAid so that when a teacher goes to use it, it actually creates alignment and consistency. So really hyper localized and kind of customized to what your school needs. And then from there, teachers can really tailor it and build out exactly what they need for their students. And then just looking at the chat, I do believe we have IB in the program. If not, it's very simple for us to get new.
Nadeem, I know the answer to that. There is IB. The IB curriculum is in the curriculum choices, and Tessa, there, we'll have to. Yeah, there's also, I know some of the other things that you're using there too. So we'll chat about what that'll look like. But this might fill a need that you have.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess the version of TeachAid I'll show you today, just really know it's the base version. What we do with TeachAid is customize it. If there's different curriculum or different courses or electives, or again, pedagogical frameworks or ways of teaching, we work with you and your team to understand that and be able to push that into the system. So before I get started, if you do want to follow along today, you can just visit teachaid.ca or type TeachAid into Google, and you can hit sign up for free. And it should bring you into TeachAid. And if you've already created an account, you can hit a login button, obviously. And then once you're in TeachAid, you should be brought to a screen that kind of looks like this. But again, if you haven't built out anything in the past, it might look a little bit different. But you can see TeachAid's actually centered around a professional learning community. So I have a TeachAid professional learning community, but as you log in, you might see there's a Prairie Rose or whatever district you're with. I'm just letting somebody in. So the professional learning community, really what this is meant to do is to create alignment and consistency within your organization by being able to share, remix, view, comment on different things that are being built by different teachers in your district or school. And you can see all of those here. Again, yours will look different if you haven't created anything out yet. You can build out different folders, you can sort things. So really a way for you and your team to collaborate. You can also upload files that were not built on TeachAid as a way to kind of share. But if you're building something brand new on TeachAid, what you want to do is hit this create new with AI button. And from here, you can see, again, you can create that full curricular unit. You can create a one-off lesson, one-off activity, or assessment. But again, the real crux of the product is that full curricular unit. So that's what we'll do today. And in the dropdown, actually, right at the top of our dropdown, you'll see that Alberta curriculum's front and center. And we also have the drafts. So for today, we'll focus on the drafts. But if you want to do something from the old curriculum or what's already been rolled out, that is also in the system.
So Nadeem, I just have to point out there, like that's the part that is so spectacular about TeachAid, because most companies are not putting Alberta's draft curriculum into their systems. And so that's, for those of us who are looking at and our drafts are, our curriculum is changing a lot. And so it's so important, so awesome that you have that draft availability for us, because that just really makes the difference there. I think that's why there's lots of people here that are interested today.
Thank you. Yeah. And as new drafts come out or things change, we can react really quickly to that. But yeah, so I'll click Alberta drafts. Maybe I'll show 2 examples today. And if we have time and there's interest, I can build out a third, but maybe we'll start with math, then we'll do social studies, and then maybe phys ed if anyone's interested or there's time. So I was thinking to start with Alberta grade 8 math. So what you can see is all the drafts here. So we'll choose that subject. What's really nice about TeachAid is we support all languages. So if you have a multilingual classroom, you can just select all of the languages that make up your classroom, and then we'll actually build all the instructional materials in all of those different languages. And then from there, you can just type into this box if you're following along the certain concept that you want to teach for this unit. I pre-prepared something, so I'll pull it in here. But for this unit, what we're going to do is students are hired as a design team for a new Alberta winter recreation park. It's going to include tubing hills, ski runs, walking trails. They must use mathematics to design a safe, affordable, and realistic park proposal. So we can put something in like that. The more specific it is, the better the output's going to be. So you can get really specific here. And you also have some advanced functions. So if you already have something built out, if you already have a unit plan, you can upload that and we'll take it into account. If you want to go cross-curricular, maybe this would be good to do, I don't know, science or social studies, you can actually go cross-curricular and embed that in. Or if you want to make this more project-based experiential learning, you can tell us about the tools and materials you have. I want to go outside to a garden, I want to use a robot, a world map or a microscope. And then from there, you're just going to hit generate your unit. And again, this is going to be a key place that you're going to see TeachAid's very, very different than other AI tools in that it's really human in the loop. So TeachAid never builds anything that goes directly to a student. What it does is works with the teacher throughout to get to those finalized instructional materials. So starting off, all it's going to build is that draft unit plan. So you can see here, it's built the high-level unit description, the key concepts we're going to hit, the learning outcomes. And what's nice, it's actually just going to go right into this new math curriculum for grade 8 and pull the correct standards in for you. But again, fully editable, fully modular, and teacher-led, where you can search the full curriculum document. You can edit what this unit's about. You have a chat on the right-hand side. You can tell it less lessons, more focused on a certain student inquiry or whatever it is. So fully modular and fully teacher in control.
Here's the part that I love, Nadeem. On the left-hand side, so the middle is the unit plan. It's building it out. The teacher, you need to kind of say, yeah, this is good, this is good. But on the left-hand side, it's starting to build out the pieces. You'll see that there's pre and mid and end of unit assessments in there. You'll see its lessons. We're going to dive into that because behind those pieces on the left, there's more pieces and more pieces to put that unit together, but it's all so customizable.
Exactly. And you can kind of think about TeachAid as almost a waterfall approach here, where we're really just putting that draft scaffolding together for you to look at. So you can see the unit plan, you can edit it, you can see the lesson plans and assessment plans at a high level. So starting off with a diagnostic on geometry pre-check into lesson 1 on park features, nets for park models, surface area for budgeting, nets and surface area checkpoints, so even formative assessments. But again, all modular. So we can edit these things, we can add more assessments or lessons, we can change the order of them, and you can really build out something engaging and special based on your students' needs. And then from there, you can just hit create the unit. And what you'll see TeachAid has done now is actually built out the full lesson plans. So the lesson description, the curriculum standards we're going to hit in those lessons, the learning goals. And what I'll mention here is, again, this is a base version of TeachAid. So if there's certain ways that your school or district unit plans or lesson plans, all of that can be made to look and feel and align to your way of creating instructional materials. But underneath all this, what you'll see is TeachAid is actually starting to create all the activities now. So it's built out this intro activity. So we're going to start off with a winter recreation park brainstorm. After that, we're going to go into a lesson on realistic measurements for park elements. From there, we're going to do an activity on park design, and then we're going to do a wrap up or exit ticket. And you can see all of these are editable again. So full modularity on how the teacher comes at this. You can add more activities, more centers, more entry points, really based in universal design for learning for what your students need.
And then
you can see this is kind of.
Oh, go ahead. There's all the lesson types there. I was going to say, even at the bottom, as we're watching, you can see that those tiles, those at the bottom are starting to populate. And when we pop down there later, we'll see that not only is the lesson or the plan editable, but the component pieces are fully editable as well. And so down there we'll have pieces of slides, sheets, worksheets, all the things down there too. So lots of editableness.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And even the framework is editable. So you can see that this was a 4-part lesson, but if you want to move more to a Madeline Hunter style or UBD, thinking classrooms, you have those abilities to regenerate quickly in different styles. But again, once this looks good to the teacher and you're ready to move forward, to Cammie's point, across the bottom, now we've actually created everything we need for the lesson. So if I click on the intro lesson here, you can see it's built out a full slide deck. So top 3 winter park features, think, list, and compare. So we're going to just start off by having this minds-on conversation around what the 3 features of this park should be. What's nice about this is it's fully editable. So you can change anything about the slide. You have full toolbars if you need components or manipulatives or anything like that. You have all those. Everything's drag and drop. If you want to change anything, you can use AI or do it manually. If you need relevant images or videos, you can just click this button and you can see that you can find relevant videos really quickly and embed those into the slides.
Nadeem,
And it also comes with a
Oh, I was just going to say, don't forget to tell us about the teacher notes in the slides.
Yeah. So all those are right under the slide. You have all the speaker notes, but again, these could be tailored to certain pedagogical frameworks or ways of instruction. So this is a base version. If we want something more aligned to how your school's coming at things, all those can be tailored, whether it be thinking classrooms or whatever it is. Okay, so you can see it's kind of built out the slides here, the speaker notes, but it doesn't just build slides or speaker notes, it actually builds out all the resources. So again, this is kind of that minds-on brainstorm where we're going to have this discussion. Maybe it was more of a class discussion, you don't need a resource, but we're always building out the things so that students can note down what their answers are or learnings. And again, full toolbar, all this is editable. If you need to differentiate something, you can rewrite it in a different language, rewrite in French, read at a different lexile level. If there's certain modifications, you can actually tell TeachAid about that. So here's our French version and our original version, so you can quickly differentiate. Again, TeachAid's really meant to be based in UDL, so you can differentiate after the fact, but you do have the power to build out different centers or, again, entry points or mediums through adding a new activity here, going back to the lesson plan and coming up with different ways to bring in the learning. From there, it looks like it's went into a bit of a mini lesson. So Winter Park, built for fun and safety. What makes a great winter park? And what's nice about this is all of these images are actually generated by AI in the moment. So they're all actually original to your slide deck. And it gets really interesting when you do like a social studies unit. It's really great at building maps and different features that would be really local to you that you wouldn't be able to build out in a slide deck typically. So and you can see this is really kind of thinking classroom style. So how big should a tubing hill be? And you kind of have these open-ended questions where you can have these really rich discussions. Food kiosks, and we're really kind of just thinking through this. I'll skip through it, and then we're kind of going into an activity here, going into safety side of things. So not just what the features should be, but actually the safety, and then even an exit ticket here. But you can really see that this is kind of that thinking classrooms approach where we've built in, and not exactly thinking classrooms, but taking this concept, built these rich tasks and open-ended questions and kind of worked through while bringing in the measurement standards. So that's kind of the lesson 1 in this math unit for grade 8. What's really nice about TeachAid is you can see the other lessons haven't been built other than that high-level description. So it's actually truly adaptable in that after lesson 1, you know where students are interested, where they're weak, where they're strong, and you can actually adapt lesson 2 on the fly. Maybe you need to regenerate what lesson 2 is about. Maybe you need to do a reteach. And you have all that capability here. After you've built something out, if you want to share it, you can share it to another teacher. You can share it back to the professional learning community so other teachers can access it or remix it for themselves. Everything you built, you can download. So you can download it into Google, Microsoft, your learning management system, or even PDF. And we also have this interactive classroom. I won't go too far into that because it's kind of in a beta version. We're going to be doing a lot in that over the summer. But basically, that's a way to display everything you've created to the students. They can fill out the different resources. But again, what we want to do over the summer is really move to a lot more rich tasks, less fill in the blanks and those sorts of things, but really rich tasks. So we're rebuilding that side of things. I'll pause there before we go into the second unit. Any questions, thoughts, or feedback on any of that?
Nadeem, one of the questions that I had earlier was, so if we're in this base model, are we able to download, or do we have to have a paid subscription for that? At what point do we Like how much is accessible if we just want to get in there and, you know, maybe our school district isn't ready, but we want to get in there and start to try things out. What's available to us?
Yeah, I'd say about 65 to 70% of the value is all available free. So if you, again, go to teachaid.ca and sign up, you'll see that quite a bit of it's unlocked. I think things like differentiation, actually downloading to certain file types, and again, like 30% of the value is probably locked behind a paywall. There is a free first month for premium if you're interested in looking at that. And then we do school partnerships, but there is quite a bit of value if you want to use this as kind of a starting point, a brainstorming place to build out the start of the activities.
So for example, you might be able to download to PDF, but not necessarily to an editable doc, for example. Something like that?
We actually just this week updated our download function, so I'm not actually sure how that works, but I can go back and get the answer.
Okay,
I think there's also an export version.
Lots of changes over the summer, I imagine, hey?
Yeah.
Great. So I don't see any other questions in the chat yet, but certainly if you have questions, pop those in there and I will let Nadeem know while he's doing a next demo for us.
Sounds good. I'm just taking a note down on that. I'll follow up with the download side of things. Sorry, just taking a note down on that. Great. Okay, so no other questions so far.
One of the parts that I love too, Nadeem, is so we've got the slides, and actually, so the slides, when we download, we can download everything or just a worksheet, or it'll put the slides together so that we've got a whole lesson package. And if it, you know, if there's not an answer key, you just ask for an answer key and then it makes one. So again, so customizable. And if you need something, you just ask and there it is.
Exactly, yeah. I'm just thinking for the second unit we're going to build out, I did have like a grade 7 social studies concept I was going to go with. But does anyone actually have any ideas, and we can build out something somebody has an idea for? Maybe we will stay on the social study side of things just because we've already done math, but does anyone have an idea on what we could build out for social studies? Citizenship, since this is
An election in October.
oh, it's okay. I was thinking, is that a word I don't know how to spell? And okay, so citizenship. Great. Yeah, let's do something like that. Certain grade you'd want to see that for?
So Tessa, is there a grade? Is that in a grade of the curriculum? I haven't even memorized those yet. So
if there's citizenship in every social studies part, it's after Confederation for grade 7, I believe, how it's built our nation. But I haven't looked at it in terms of either.
Okay. So we can do, let's just do a citizenship for grade 8, maybe, Nadeem. And then there's also a question about math worksheets with the math type. So formulas, fractions, symbols, those types of things. So maybe we can either address that now while we're still kind of on math or at the end.
Yeah, just quickly to Amanda. Yeah, we've actually embedded a new like latex kind of font system. So we actually do that pretty well now. If you play around with the system and see any inconsistencies in symbols or scientific or math notation, just let us know, but it should be working really well now. That's something we worked on a few months ago.
And is that
okay.
editable then as well, Nadeem? Like, so the math, like, so, I mean, teachers, that's such a hard part for the math teachers, is the math typing easily editable as well?
Yeah, it should be. I can maybe pull that up at the end.
Sure, let's go ahead and take a look at social, and then we can take a look at some of the math that was generated.
Sounds good. But the answer is yeah, that is all editable. Okay, so let's do citizenship. Tessa, actually, where in Alberta are you from? Maybe let's try to make this more specific and kind of local to you.
Medicine Hat, Alberta is the closest city. I'm technically in Ralston, which is by Suffield military base, which has British military children, well, children from the Commonwealth all over the world as well.
Okay. Sorry, I missed what the actual town name was. Could you repeat that?
Medicine Hat, Alberta.
And what was the smaller town?
Suffield, Ralston military base. It's Suffield military base, Ralston, Alberta.
Okay, maybe I'll go with Medicine Hat.
Okay.
Medicine, but it should be able to deal with those types of things if you want to go hyper local. Okay, so we can do citizenship in relation to Medicine Hat, Alberta. Anything else that we want to see in this unit? And again, the more specific we get, the better the outcomes here.
I can't think off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Well, Tessa, you were mentioning the elections, right? So elections or referenda, right? So something to do with elections and referenda might be an interesting one.
As well as like bias and perspective, I think would be important as well.
And should we go cross-curricular with English for this one, or do you want to see social studies?
I don't teach language this year, but there is an element of team teaching with the language teacher, so I don't mind either.
Okay, let's go with it. Just kind of maybe show the oh, these are the draft curriculum. I actually can't do that. Okay, that's something we got to come back to. Yeah, well, I'll just leave it because they're drafts. It's seeing this as a different curriculum, but I'll get that fixed up too. Okay, and then from there, we're just going to hit generate the unit. And again, I don't want to be too redundant here, so I'll move a little bit quicker, but just seeing how this is going to be able to pull in that localization of Medicine Hat, those key concepts where we have media influence, political participation, the provincial elections coming up, and again, the ability to pull in those new standards.
So Nadeem,
going into lessons.
If we wanted this to be like maybe a mini unit, can we ask or tell TeachAid, hey, we want this to be 4 days or 4 times 45 minutes or 4 times 60 minutes? Like, can we tell TeachAid that at the outset?
For sure. And we're the chat's getting, well, you can do that, I guess, just right here, just shorten the amount of lessons. But you also have this chat to, let's say, 4 lessons. We're getting a little bit better with the design of that and kind of configurability. But for right now, you can kind of just type in here, change the amount of lessons afterwards. When you were first making the concept, though, you could also put that into the chat box. I want this to be 4 lessons long. And then you can see here, it's actually shortened this down to 4 lessons. So focus on citizenship, voting right in processes, proof of voting, participation and engagement. Okay, we are at 6:30. I don't want to get too redundant. Maybe I'll let this lesson load in. But maybe while that happens, and I can kind of speak to stuff, is there any questions about TeachAid or just questions in general about the new curriculum or anything from anyone?
One of the things I'd like to point out is if you look in the top left corner of the build that's happening, it often will start with a pre-assessment. And so, a short activity that kind of gives you an opportunity to see, well, what do my students know about that? And so that's a really nice piece that I like about TeachAid, is that it says, okay, well, we need to see what our students know to start with. Maybe, Nadeem, we address the math question a little bit more, because I know that's always a burning question with math teachers.
Yeah, I'll go back to that. What I'm going to do is try to find a math unit I've built out recently. Maybe this fractions unit.
Fractions would be perfect.
Yeah, just seeing if Okay, yeah, you can see those here. Okay, let me open this one up. It actually looks like somebody else built this unit, so hopefully it works okay. But if you actually click on this here, well, maybe I can't change this. Maybe, oh, here it is. Maybe we don't have that capability. If I click here, so I think this is the, I'll actually have to come back to this, I think. It doesn't look like they want to edit that. I apologize. Yeah, I'll come back to that. Let me see if I can actually find a worksheet here. Oh, and it looks like these are actually, to your point. Okay, so that's something we got to come back with. It does look like we're a little bit weaker on those. I'll take that down as a note and bring that back to the team. Sorry about that.
Well, so sorry to put you on the spot there, Nadeem, but I know, I know for us in Alberta with a math pilot, without real resources, that will be a thing that people will really want to know is how is the math editing, especially once we get up into junior high where the math becomes more complex with symbols.
Definitely. And maybe something I'll just note with that too, we are a smaller, again, Canadian startup. So if there's things like that come up, we can move really quickly on it. I'll take that to the team later today and we'll get it fixed up in a few weeks, or hopefully within a week. Okay, any other questions or anything else anyone wants to go over?
Doesn't look like there's any other questions in the chat right now. Maybe we can pop back into that social studies unit and just take a look at the kinds of pieces that built for us.
Yeah, sure. Let me pull that up here. Okay, so going into the mini lesson here, who is citizen in medicine hat, and kind of going through this. I guess I don't want it to be too redundant. Okay, we are at 6:32. Maybe we just end it off if there's no other questions, or does anyone have any questions about the content or anything here for the social studies unit?
Not at the moment, thank you. It looks great.
Thank you.
There again are the worksheets, again, all editable. And so the deck will publish as a slide deck. The worksheets, you can download them all together or separately. So, and of course you can fully edit them all. I actually liked seeing this social studies one. The other one had created graphics, and this one had real people graphics, like real photos. And so that was nice to see a little difference in style there. Excellent. Well, if there are any other questions, you can stick around. And oh, there comes one right now. Can it provide specific activities with specific manipulatives for math concepts?
So manipulatives is something we sorry, go ahead, Cammie.
No, I was just going to say, so Michelle, okay, I was just going to say, are there specific physical things? So Cuisenaire rods, for example, or math tiles, something like that. I know when you first are giving the prompt, it will often ask you, are there other things, resources that you would like to use? So do your students have Chromebooks, or do they have, build this using Cuisenaire rods? Or from my own experience, putting in really specific manipulatives or tools for different subjects, it's done quite a nice job of saying yes, and then building them out with those pieces.
Yeah, exactly. So that goes in here. Well, what we actually want to build is those kind of virtual manipulatives and being able to, and again, that's kind of coming, something we're looking at over the summer is really rebuilding that student side so they have that kind of ability. But to Cammie's point, what we don't want to do is have teachers running around looking for resources or manipulatives or things that they might not have access to. So we always just assume a teacher has what a normal classroom would have. So if you do have anything manipulative or above and beyond, you can type that in here and we'll know that students can run centers with those things.
So Michelle, if you, the screen that Nadeem was just on there's a little box where it said physical things that you have access. Do you want to just, do you want to click on that again, Nadeem?
Yeah.
So if you take a look at the screen right there at the bottom, physical materials or tools to use. And so that is where I would put that in and say I have a class set of Cuisinart rods, or I have a class set of whatever, and I want the units to be built, or at least 2 lessons should be built using these. And I think part of it, like Nadeem, I totally get where you want to have the digital tools, but I know that teachers also want to be able to build lessons where they can use hands-on manipulatives, because our schools do have the resources and we do have the things. And so if we have those Cuisinart rods or those physical manipulatives, we want to be able to build lessons that help us use them as well.
Yeah, and something we are building too, and I keep promising a lot, but we're actually building a teacher profile where you're able to tell us what your kind of inventory or classroom looks like, so that we always just know and we can recommend different creative ideas. Before we jump off, I'll just put a link here to my calendar. If anyone wants to see a more in-depth demo of TeachAid, or even just jump on a call together and build out a unit together, happy to do that. Or someone, our team is happy to also jump on a call. But I'll just leave that there if anyone wants to explore a pilot. We do offer free pilots. But yeah, Cammie, anything else you wanted to go over?
No, I'll pop back to the slide deck here in case you wanted to talk about anything from there. There we go. Let's get to the end here. Oh, did you want to talk about the hyperlocalization a little bit more?
Oh, where is that again? Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I mentioned this at the start, but again, TeachAid is as much of a partner as it is a software. So what we really do, and I'll stop sharing on my side here, what we really do is work with a district or a school, understand again your pedagogical frameworks, understand your local context, your strategic plan. So if you have things like SEL, or again, Indigenous education, or any initiatives or pedagogical frameworks and ways of teaching, what we really do is work with your team, understand how we embed that in, so that when a teacher goes into TeachAid, again, you can see how much flexibility a teacher has, but you're able to create that alignment and consistency based on those frameworks. Yeah, Stephanie.
So even a good phys ed example, Nadeem, would be if your district is located in the Rocky Mountains, if you're in Cammie or Banff, and you're a phys ed teacher, you will have very different phys ed options and opportunities than we do on the Bald Flat Prairie. And so those types of things, I know can be built in there.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? Those kind of hyper localized cases. And then just to Stephanie's point, so that's exactly it too. You can do either, but what we can do is work with you and your team to understand, should it be more project-based? Is there certain ways that you're coming at project-based learning? But yeah, you can build either, and you can try that out in the prompt, asking for more project-based, asking for more thinking classrooms. I keep using that example, or kind of any other pedagogical framework that you're looking for.
Yeah, the lessons that Nadeem showed today were very project-based, but it could be, very straight up, if you wanted to be more explicit, or, to use manipulatives. You really have a lot of control over what type of output you want, for sure. All right,
I'll put TeachAid's website one more time in case anyone wants to link. But yeah, I think that's anything else you want to go over, Cammie?
No, I think, we're happy to answer any more questions if you have, but hopefully you can get in there and start to dig around, and just take TeachAid. My advice would be just take TeachAid for a spin, see what it can do, click on the buttons, check out how it's editing. The recording, I imagine, will come out probably tomorrow, really, Nadeem, today or tomorrow is the last day of school for most people. So hopefully you don't make us wait too long.
Yeah, thanks everyone for making time during this busy week. Yeah, thanks everyone. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
I'll just end this recording here.
Mr. Craven, thanks. See ya.
I think I'll just Jennifer, anything you wanted to go over before we jump off? Maybe I'll just remove Jennifer.
Yeah,
No.
I did not have very good